Do you worry that your dark past is lurking behind you, just waiting to catch up and take away everything you've worked for?
Well, that's what we're going to be talking about today here on My Sober Truth. Hey, it's May 2nd, and it's time for a double shot of My Sober Truth. Shauna, I was reading today, and I love a couple quotes from today's reading. It said, "Cling to the thought that in God's hands, the dark past is the greatest possession you have."
That's huge.
You know, and
Huge.
then huge. And again, I think as part of a healing journey, as part of a recovery journey, part of what we're doing in our mind is reframing things. We're not lying to ourselves, but
No.
we're beginning to see things clearly
Right.
as they were in that situation. There's another quote in today's reading we were talking about just earlier that we both love, and then I want to hear from you on this one. "No longer is my past an autobiography." And I would even say a closed autobiography
Right.
in that situation, given the shame that we all used to walk in. It's a reference book to be taken down, opened, and shared.
That's so powerful to me because both of those are just huge in my recovery. Because, well, there was a time, I'll never forget, I was riding in the car with my sponsor, and I just asked him, I can't remember how far I was in, maybe a month or two into trying to work a program of recovery, and I was getting started working steps, and I didn't really understand how it all worked, but I knew my plan hadn't worked up to that point. So, I was 42 years old and in rehab, so my plan hadn't worked. So I was trying something else. So, but I asked him straight up. We were riding in the car, and I said, "How in the world do I turn all this darkness that I feel from my past? How do I turn that around?" And he said, "You use your story, you share your story, and the sharing of your story will help someone else because they'll relate to you. And that turns that darkness into light."
Powerful.
And, man, that really was a game changer for me. And reading the sentence we were just talking about there that you read, my life's no longer an autobiography. It is a reference book. It's a reference book. It tells me how not to do it. It also is a reference book to show other people, hey, you're not alone. You're not the only person that did this. I'll never forget going into the rooms of recovery and sharing a story that I fully expected people to shun me or shame me or something else, that kind of, if I had been at a family member's house and shared a story, what I thought I would have gotten from them, or from some people at work, what I thought I would have gotten from them. But I share this story and I hear people giggle and laugh. And I go, and I hear them literally saying, "Yeah, I've done that." Wait a minute, I'm in my group of people here. These people actually know what I'm talking about. They're not judging me.
So that brings up a question in my mind. In that moment, you're sitting in that room, you're spilling your guts to a group of strangers, and you find out for maybe the first time in your life that you're not alone in this.
Right.
What did that do in your heart and in your head?
Well, it was so huge in both of those, because here I was, this guy who felt like the crappiest guy in the world. No one had ever done the things that I had done.
And wait a minute, I just heard 3 viewers laugh.
I really thought that. No one was worse than me. I was the worst son. I was the worst dad. I was the worst brother. I was the worst everything. And that's the way I felt. So it was hard to overcome that to do anything successful.
Right.
Well, once I realized that I'm not the worst, I'm somewhere in the middle, just like everybody else. I'm somewhere in the middle. I'm not the best at this. I'm not the worst at this. I'm just somewhere in the middle. I'm just a regular guy. And once I found that out, and then I started seeing these steps work in my life, and a huge part of the steps were making me realize that I could get right with a higher power.
Mm-hmm.
I could get right with some other folks that I've harmed.
Right.
And then I got to get right with me.
Right.
I've got to get right with all these different factions, but all of a sudden I got a few steps in, especially when you start getting around step 5, you've already written about or you already have this stuff laid out that you need to talk about, and then you start releasing some of it. And man, these promises just kind of start springing forth. it's just an amazing journey to go through to get from where I was. And I remember who I was. I remember who I was back then, but it doesn't feel like me. It feels like it was a movie about me or something. It was or this complete other life, because the person that I feel like I am now is so far removed from all that. And it's been a pretty good little while, 8.5 years now.
Right.
So it really never ceases to amaze me, not only what 12-step program's done in my life, but what I watch it do in other people's lives.
I agree. It's that powerful aspect of community, realizing that you're not alone in your shame, you're not alone in the mess that you went to.
Absolutely.
That you're not the devil incarnate.
That's right.
You just screwed up.
That's right.
In that situation, you have this thing that you've said more than once. I'm going to quote Sean Smith now because I like doing this every once in a while. Sean Smith said this. He said, "When I use my past to help others realize they're not alone, I can turn the darkness in my heart into the light that helps others." And I couldn't agree more. So, as we wrap up, I really would like to hear what our viewers have to say on this whole subject. And so, how are you using your story to help others? Put it in the comments below. And I'd also love to know, how does this help you stay sober? As always, we'd love to read these comments. Shauna and I always look at them, and other people do too. And we always know that your comments will help someone else. And on that note, for My Sober Truth, I'm Mark.
And I'm Sean, and here's hoping that today you stay drunk with success. Love y'all.
Hey folks, thanks for watching. If you're thirsty for another round, then belly on up to mysobertruth.com and click on the double shot button today. There you'll find the encouragement, inspiration, and support that'll help you stay clean, on track, and prospering in every area of your life. Take a moment to subscribe to this channel, and if you got a minute, stick around. Let's watch another video together.